You can have everything in the world, but without the presence of God in your life, you'll never have the peace that passes all understanding. If you know anything about this story in 2 Samuel chapter 15 through 18, Absalom had been standing at the gate for 4 years, telling everybody, basically, when I become king, it will be better for you. His dad was about 60 years old, had reigned, had fought battles, had brought the nation to where it was, but now his son was no relationship. It was dysfunctional. It happened from a time where David did not discipline a son that had raped a daughter. And Absalom took matters into his own hands and decided that I will be judge and jury in this situation. And so to understand where they are now, that for 4 years there had been this estrangement that was there. And Absalom would sit at the gates, and he had chariots and horsemen all around him, and he would come in, and I don't know why David did not address it, but he didn't. And people would come up to Absalom, and he said, when I'm ruler and when I'm the counselor and when I'm the judge, it's going to be better for you. And he even did it in such a manipulative way. He would not let them do the royal bow or anything. He would bring them to him, and he would kiss them on the cheek. And when I'm king, when I'm king, when I'm king. And David is dealing with this, and now it has come to this part of his life that his son in Hebron has called all the nation together and tricked some of them to be in there. And then when the trumpet blast was there, the sound was Absalom is king in Israel. And so when you understand what's happening here, is David is making a decision about betrayal. David is making a decision about how do you have peace in the middle of your situation where chaos is all around you. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. And the people that were supposed to be ride or die, the people that were supposed to be the ones that were going to be there forever and all those things in your life, they're the very ones that want you dead. Now you think you had a bad week. This is the part in your life that you look at your life and say, I don't understand this. How did this happen? I'm 60 years old. I thought all my battles with the Philistines were over with. I thought all my battles, but it wasn't from the outside that this was happening. It was internally that it was happening. And I can tell you, you can handle the battles on the outside, but sometimes the battles on the inside will steal your peace. Sometimes when you can't look at your own life and your own situation and you go home and you're dreading walking through the door because there's been so much chaos in the house. You're dreading the phone call because it may be the police again about the child. It may be something in your life that you're looking at right now and saying, how in the world did this happen in my life? And I need the peace that passes all understanding because God promised me peace. But how do I have peace in this chaos? And I will tell you, the only way that you'll have peace during the middle of the chaos is to surrender fully to Jesus Christ. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 16, it says, now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace as always in every way. The Lord be with you all. That you can have peace that passes all understanding, that he will give you that shalom, that well-being, that peace that only comes through him and by him. When we have a peace and well-being, because the presence of God is there. And without the presence of God, there is no peace. Let me say that again for somebody. You can have everything in the world, but without the presence of God in your life, you'll never have the peace that passes all understanding. because your peace will be conditional upon the circumstances that you're in, not what's on the inside. Because there is a lot of people that will attack you, and the reason that they are attacking you is they have no peace within them. And if you don't have the peace that passes all understanding, you'll never have peace, and you'll always lash out at people. So to understand this peace that is there, it starts off with a relationship with Jesus Christ, not a religion, not a denomination, not knowing all, you can know every Brandon Lake song you want to know, or the Gaithers, it don't matter. But you can know every hymn and every song and every page. But if you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, and the blood of Jesus Christ has not washed away all of your sins, you will not have peace with God. Now, let me say the other part of that is when we as believers allow weights in our life, sin in our life, things that shouldn't be there, we'll blame others for what we've done. And so when we understand this, and I want you to know this is where we are when we start looking at it and saying, okay, I need the peace that passes all understanding, and I want that peace, but I've got to surrender to have that peace. How many of you, if somebody hits you, what's your first thought? How many of you have brothers and sisters growing up? I am going to knock them out, right? They hit me, I hit them. And then if they were the younger sibling, only when mom and dad walked in the room that they started crying. They started it, right? That's a little brother, middle brother, all wrapped into one right there. They started it. My younger brother, I used to call him my little brother. He's not my little brother, but he's my younger brother. I mean, he would come by and just hit you, just wear you out, go through. You would hit him back, hold him down. Mom and dad would come through the room, and he'd go, they're hitting me again. I know all the babies in here are going, no, that never happened to me. Yeah, we know. But there comes a place in your life, that you have to surrender to have the peace that passes all understanding. Let me show you a few things here through this story. The first thing is we have to surrender for the sacred. We have to surrender for the sacred. In 2 Samuel chapter 15, verse 14. So David said to his servants who were with him in Jerusalem, arise and let us flee. Or shall we not escape from Absalom? Make haste to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly and bring disaster upon us and strike the city with the edge of the sword. Now, they had built the city of David. The Ark of the Covenant was there. The sacred things were there. And David said, instead of causing a war here and a battle here, I'll leave to protect the sacred, that there won't be a battle where the sacred is. Let me say that again for somebody. That David was willing, this great warrior, this great king, had all these mighty men around him. I mean, go back and read the story of the mighty men and you'll start to understand this. These are the guys that has one sword and they killed 900 people. These were not people that were scared of a fight and scared of a battle. They were not running in fear, but they were going to protect the sacred and give everybody a moment to breathe, because they wanted the peace that came through Jesus Christ and the peace that came through that relationship with God. And understanding the season that you're in right now, are you willing to say, I'll pull back and be still and know that He is God, and I won't try to fight because I don't want to hurt somebody else? Now, This is a huge part of what we're doing. This is a huge part of what we're doing as a world right now. We got to get them before they get us. We got to say it before they say it about us. We've got to do these things. But you stand back and say, I don't know everything. The best day of your life is when you realize you don't have to comment on everything. The best day of your life is when you say, I may not know all the answers. I may not know all the questions. I may not know what's all going on. God, by your grace, your mercy, and your love, I'm going to go ahead and pray, believe, trust God, do everything that I can, because I will not destroy the sacred to get my way. It'd be better not to comment on somebody else's marriage. It would be better not to comment on somebody else's church. It would be better not to have a comment on everybody's relationship with Jesus Christ. You don't know where they've been this week. You don't know the battle that they've had to fight this week. You don't understand just standing up and being in the house of God today took everything in their power for them to walk through the door today. I am glad when they said, let us go to the house of the Lord. You know why? Because some days my hands are weak and I don't know what I'm going to do. But when I get to the house of the Lord, something happens in my life. I start looking at believers, and I know we've come by faith to come here today. And because you came here today, the Lord showed up, because he said, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I will be there right in the midst of them. For somebody today, I'm going to step back and say, I'm just going to step back for just a moment. Now notice this in 2 Samuel chapter 15, verse 24. Then there was Zadok, who was also with the Levites with him, bearing the ark of the covenant of God. And they set down the ark of the covenant. Nabathar went up until all the people had finished crossing from over the city. Then the king said to Zadok, carry the ark of the covenant back to the city. Now notice this. I want you to see this. If I find favor in the eyes of the Lord, he will bring me back and show me both it and its dwelling place. But he says thus, I have no delight in you. If God says, I have no delight in you, here I am. Let him do what he pleases. You're talking about a trust and a faith in God? Now, I don't know about you, but a lot of us would be like this. If somebody started to fight with me, I'm grabbing some of you. Anybody know what I'm talking about? They're bigger than me. If they're armed, I'm going to grab some people that I know have been in some fights before. I'm grabbing some ladies around here that have been in some scuffles. And they haven't been in scuffles a long time because they have a reputation now. You know what I'm talking about? You know, you just have to beat up one bully and your fame spreads. The thing that happens to us so many times, I would want to, if I was going out of Jerusalem that day, bring the ark, bring the tent, bring everything that you got. And David says, I trust God that I'm going to surrender in this situation, the sacred, who God is, because who God is does not, see, I do not hold up God, God holds up me. And so when you get to that place in your life that you just simply says, it's all about God, I have a peace that passes all understanding because I'm going to surrender and just say, God, it's your kingdom. It's your glory. It's your honor. It's your farm. It's your business. It's your marriage. It's your thing. God, I know what you want to do, but God, I surrender at this moment.